Hello, my name is Wayne. Welcome to my presentation regarding the integration of a project called Flight Gear into flight instruction curriculum. I first want to say that I am not involved in teaching at the moment, so I chose to pick a topic that is close to my action research. This involves simulations, which I am studying the possible applications of virtual worlds, virtual environments in media production, educational media production, and distance learning. Out of the idea of using Microsoft Flight Simulator to supplement flight instruction, standard flight instruction in this week's gaming post, and I started to expound upon that. Microsoft Flight Simulator is certainly a great program, but I thought about the disadvantages of it, which involve cost, and it is also a very unwieldy, very memory-intensive program. I began to look for something better, which led me to flightgear.org, which is an open source, free, online flight simulation environment, which is I found to be very rich in content and very rich in environment, visuals, sound. It's a very rich flight simulation environment. Very flexible, very nimble. You have choices of locations, hundreds, thousands of airports across the world, literally hundreds of aircraft to choose from. Vintage aircraft, starter aircraft, your Cessnas. You can fly a 747 if you want to. It's that flexible. This technology could be applied in a flight instruction curriculum as a method to familiarize the student with basic aircraft controls and instrumentations and navigation, while the student concurrently studies aerodynamics and terminology and the traditional flight instruction that you have to have face-to-face. I think this would instill the desire to study flight in young students if they're just exposed to this. I also think this would be useful for experienced pilots because of the flexibility of it. You can try out a new aircraft before you buy it. You can fly into an airport before you do it for real. Very important, significant factor in safety, in aviation safety, in my opinion, in my view. Advantages are time and expense. Flight instruction is quite expensive. The reason it is expensive is the time involved. Anything that could reduce the time and reduce costs would benefit the student. And could also be used for students who simply have no access to real flight instructions. They have no access to an aircraft. And finally, if you allow me to proselytize for a moment, just a moment, I wish to say that none of this will be possible unless we finish building out the broadband networks in this country. There are simply too many places without broadband access, and it's random and it needs correction. It's ridiculous when my stepson can get access in a small border town on the Canadian border of southern Alaska when my nephew cannot get anything at his cabin 30 miles from Denver. So it's just ridiculous. We must give everybody, remote people, access to broadband for distance education and learning and just basic communication. Anyway, this should be a national priority in my view. Well, there you have it. That's my presentation. Now go flying. Nice to see you. Bye-bye.